And we welcome in now guest number one for the day, BYU basketball assistant coach Chris Burgess, as we continue this car wash for all of the assistant coaches under Mark Pope. Welcome, man.
Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
Are you ready to one-up Nick Robinson?
That's gonna be difficult, man. His shot, the Stanford shot, I don't know if I can one-up him regardless of what I do here. That shot is forever solidified him as the top dog.
Well, hey,
that was a heck of a shot.
At least you beat Cody Feger in a shooting contest to get the desired office in the basketball annex.
I did, and again, Nick wasn't present, and that was completely calculated. And I got Cody. I got Cody. He thinks we're going to do every 3 months. There's no way.
Every 3 months?
There's no way. I've got it for at least a mission, a 2-year mission. I've got it for at least a 2-year mission.
All right.
A mission trip. Yeah, that's what we like to call it here, jokingly. What's the last month been like for this staff, and how would you define it?
Madness in a good way, right? Your head is spinning a little bit. The number one thing is like reaching out to the current players, right, and making sure they get, because it's a change for us and a change for them too. And so we're going to be thrown right into workouts. So reaching out to these guys, bring them in your office so that we can get to know them, so that we can coach them and they can start to trust you, right? You got to start cultivating relationships and build this trust. So that was number one. Number two is like the 2019 recruiting class. What do we need? Who are we going after? So we start recruiting, right? And so that was number two. And then we're also throwing in, I think I was hired Wednesday or Thursday, and then Friday we're on the road at the EYBL, the Adidas, right, and all these different things. And so it's like, all right, what do we need? What are we going to watch? Right, and then the other thing is just kind of getting everything situated in terms of transition of like the benefits and the HR and all these different things, and so it's been so smooth, and that's kind of a reflection on BYU itself and the university and how we've just felt at home, how they've taken care of us. They've bent over backwards. They gave us a nice office with a window, so they've done all these things to make us feel nice and warm.
You earned a nice office with a window. Yeah.
But yeah, it's been smooth. I feel at home now. I feel like I'm situated. I love these guys that I have on the team. Love them. I think that they got a chip on their shoulder, and Coach Pope does well with guys like that.
Yeah, I feel like the YMCA, we call it the YMCA, the BYU Marriott Center Annex, has been like a beehive of activity. It's crazy, and you got transfers coming in, and you're dealing with a lot of personnel changes. So how has the reception of the guys that are sticking around been to the new coaching staff?
Unbelievable. Really, we know some of these kids already, right? We, being at Utah Valley or being in the state, some of these kids. But the reception, I'm telling you, from day one, and then the first workout has been really positive. Like I said, they have a chip on their shoulder, but these guys want to win, right? And the guys that are there, they want to win. They want to go to the NCAA tournament. They want to listen. They've heard, some of them know Coach Pope, where they were recruited, 4 years ago or whatever, or their, family members or brothers have played for them. And there's just been this positive, like, coach me. I want to be coached. I want to be in this gym. I want to get better. So it's been really positive. These guys are easy to coach. Like, they really are. Now, we haven't had any wins or losses. There's been no playing time and minutes distributed yet. So, of course, everyone's feeling really good. But I, from the get-go, like, I love kids that look in the eye when you coach them, doing what you ask, wanting to try. Yes, sir. We love those kids. We love those kids. And so it's been good.
Can we still expect players to be announced that could join the roster this year? Is that still in flux at this point?
Yeah. It still is. There's still a couple players that we're working on. I don't know how much I can talk about it, but there are a couple more guys we're working on to finalize this thing. And then once they're on board, let's go. Let's get these summer workouts going, and let's get ready for the Italy trip in August. And man, let's go. Let's go. We're ready to roll. So a couple more.
You've worked with and played for some outstanding basketball coaches, notably Mike Krzyzewski at Duke, Rick Burgess at Utah, and now coaching with Mark Pope at Utah Valley and now BYU.
You put Mark Pope in that same category? Wow.
That's pretty awesome. It's the next one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's the next one. Now, Mark, obviously.
Indian Hills, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
Coach Wardenberg, man.
Coach
Wardenberg.
And he did some great things.
Yeah.
How much of your coaching philosophy is based on guys like Coach K and Coach Majerus and now Mark Pope?
I think the game has changed a lot, and the kids are a different generation. From, for example, Rick Majerus, there was, I call fear in the gym. You just played with constant fear, and you did everything right, and you played hard because you were just in fear of this guy. Coach K, there was some fear, but there was always, everything in terms of the way we played, everything was the aggressive. You were always the aggressor. Offensively, defensively, we got up the line. We denied everything on ball screens. We hard show in the post. We had 3/4 front. And you just knew that, right? We were going to be aggressive. You can do that because you have 9 McDonald's All-Americans, right? You can't. Where Utah was, again, there was fear, but every game plan and every player you played was just different, right? How we game plan, everything was different. This guy's a shooter, non-shooter, so it went that way. Coach Pope is all about joy in the gym, right? Which is completely different. And this generation thrives off that. Now, he's still going to push you. He's still going to challenge you. He's going to get on you. But we always, as we meet in a staff before we go to practice, he's like, all right, boys, let's bring some joy to this gym, right? Because these kids, you got to find a way to keep them motivated, right? You got to find a way to keep them competitive, and you got to find a way where because it's a long season, and some of these kids are married, some of these kids got academic things, and so how do we get them for those 2 to 3 hours on the court? How do we bring joy to the gym? And it's our job as a coaching staff. So that's the difference. I don't think Majerus was going to his staff being like, guys, let's bring joy to the gym, right? He wasn't doing that, right? It was there was like you could feel his presence as he was walking down the Huntsman, like, oh, coach is here, and you just be right. And I don't think guys can play like that anymore, right? I think it's a different generation. Where these guys, you talk about joy and having fun out there on the floor, and I think there's something to it. But coach's thing about having fun is you work so hard, you compete so much in practice. When the game comes, the fun is competing against that opponent. Look him in the eye like, let's go, right? And so winning is what brings the ultimate fun of this game out. And so that's the difference. I think Coach Pope is as good as it comes in terms of the college game and the NBA game and kind of bringing them together. He played with arguably 2 of the greatest shooters all time in Ray Allen and Reggie Miller, right? Hey, Steph Curry, Clay, what they do is amazing, but it's a different game. And so his mentality with these shooters is like, he'd be like, a guy would be 0 for 5, 0 for 6. And he'd be like, man, Reggie Miller would come during a timeout with the Pacers and be like, coach, I'm like, hey, you're 0 for 6, keep shooting. He's like, man, I don't even know if I'm hot yet. I got to make my first one, right? And so that's the mentality he brings with that NBA, aspect of the game and in coaching. He's like, keep shooting these open shots. They are not mistakes when you miss. Shoot the ball. And guys are going to love doing that. Guys are going to love, as long as you play hard, enjoy the game, compete, work hard, you're going to love playing for this guy.
And in the past couple of days, there was a recommendation to the playing rules committee of potentially moving the three-point line back. What do you think of that potential move? June 5th, they'd have to approve.
Keep moving it back. It's harder for us bigs, but keep moving it back. I know Cody would like to move that line back. No, listen, it is what it is. We're adapting as close as we can to the FIBA game and the NBA game. These kids, even at the high school level, the threes they're shooting, might as well move it back, right? I think percentages will dip a little bit, but it's going to eliminate some shooters out there that need that extra couple inches or whatever it is forward, and mainly your 5s and some of your 3s. But I'm all for it, right? This game, the way these kids shoot this day and the work they put in and all the hours they put in just shooting the ball, 3s is so much different. And it's an era where, like, I don't think it's a big deal. I really don't.
I would love it for spacing.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
It'd be good. Yeah.
Spacing, because this is all, like, ball screens is taken over. Right, the NBA is always 2 years ahead of college. Like what they start doing, we adapt in college a couple years later, and it's all about spacing, switching, getting the mismatch you want. And so that NBA or that college 3 is, like you said, it's going to space for these bigs to roll, these bigs to hit the corner. I call it the Draymond pass. When Draymond rolls and he finds guys cutting. Yeah. So it's going to allow that, and that's what we teach with our bigs and our guards is like, hey, when you roll and you feel pressure, you make the right play. Don't put on the floor and try to power up and cause an inefficient shot or a turnover. And so that's going to really help.
Chris Burgess here with us on BYU Sports Nation, BYU basketball assistant coach. You never played at BYU, but there's obviously history for you here and your family.
Wait,
and
what?
Specifically, you got put in a weird situation that I think you handled with a lot of class. But Roger Reid said some tough things to you during your recruitment period. Where are you emotionally with all of that now? Because it happened such a long time ago.
Really positive. I've been close with the Reid, Randy, Robbie, and Darren for a long time. I played pickup with them the last 4 years and got to know them. You can get to know someone really well playing pickup with them.
Amen to that.
Yeah, so I've gotten really close. I've gotten really close to these guys, and I was able to kind of see Roger for the first time when Coach Pope got the job here over there at the Annex, and I got to embrace him, and he told me he loved me, and it was just this kind of full circle feel good moment. I know that's cliche, but it meant more than people understand because it's a situation that none of us wanted, and my relationships with them when they were recruiting me was as good as it can get, right? I loved it. I loved how they cultivated with the relationships with me and the way they recruited me and talked to me and just made like a 16, 17-year-old kid feel like golden, right? And so how it all turned out, I couldn't be happier how we've embraced him here because he's done so much for BYU in his coaching days. I've gotten really close with their sons I've told you about. So Randy sent me a nice text message yesterday being, hey, it's so good for the public to understand how close we've become privately. Right, and so I got nothing but love for them. I can't wait to get Randy here at a game, you know, and Robbie and Darren for them to understand the impact they had as former players and the impact their dad had as a former coach. And for me to be part of that is people say full circle, which I believe, but it's more of a feel-good moment for me where I have some peace in my life during a time I it was tough. Right, and so I have some peace, and credit goes to Coach Pope, Coach Reid, and Randy, Robbie, and Darren.
Great stuff.
Well, it's great to have you, not only for sort of this part of the story, but you're a good coach.
Yeah.
So we're excited to have you here.
Well, I appreciate it.
Welcome,
the jury's out on that, but I appreciate it.
We would love for you to sign our Sailor Kook flag. To officially welcome you to BYU Sports Nation.
And we have this thing called BYU Sports Nation Karma. Basically, you get good luck. So good luck in recruiting and all that.
Yes.
And you can set, let's see, Yoli Childs, I believe.
Coach Pope.
You can go higher than Pope if you want. You're already higher than Fieger, probably. So. I love Coach.